Lithium batteries have become the quinoa of the sailing world. Everyone's talking about them, everyone assumes they'll be healthier, and a surprising number of people have absolutely no idea what they're doing with them. Now, let's be clear right up front. Lithium batteries are not bad. In fact, when they're done right, they're genuinely excellent. They charge fast, they hold their voltage, they're lighter, and they can transform the way a boat lives at anchor. But the problem is not lithium batteries themselves. The problem is how people install them, why they install them, and what they assume will magically take care of itself afterward. So today we're going to talk about 3 mistakes everyone makes with lithium batteries on sailboats. Why these mistakes don't just cost money, they quietly shorten your component life, create failure points, and in some cases leave people dead in the water wondering how a premium upgrade went so wrong. Mistake number 1, treating lithium like a drop-in replacement. This is the big one, the king of all the mistakes, the mistake that launches 1,000 forum arguments. Somewhere along the way, it started to sound like lithium batteries are just lead-acid batteries with better manners. As if you remove the old AGMs, drop in a lithium in the same box, and suddenly your boat ascends into electrical nirvana. This is not how it works. Lead-acid batteries are pretty lazy. They accept a charge very slowly. They resist current as they get more full, and naturally protect charging sources by being inefficient. Lithium batteries, by contrast, are aggressively efficient. They will accept everything your charging system can produce immediately without complaint, which sounds wonderful until your alternator melts itself into a sad puddle of aluminum. Here's the issue. Most sailboat alternators were never designed to operate at full output for extended periods of time. With lead-acid batteries, they really don't have to. The battery fills, resistance rises, the current tapers down, and the alternator gets to relax the more it's charged. Lithium removes that natural taper. Now the alternator is asked to produce maximum output continuously, and heat starts to build, bearings suffer, windings cook, regulators start to panic, and suddenly the most reliable charging source on the boat is the one most likely to die young. Now, food for thought. Balmar, the big alternator manufacturer a lot of cruisers rely on, is making some new alternators that they say are safe to use with your lithium batteries as long as you also use their external regulator. If you do this, you'll still have to have a lead battery anyway though, because most lithium banks tell you not to start your engine with lithium. I think the safest way to use a lithium charging alternator right now is as the second add-on unit on your engine, a second alternator, not as the primary system. You can also add a charging system device like a Wakespeed or a similar product that works as an in-between for your old-fashioned alternator and the new lithium batteries. How you do it is kind of up to you. But that's just the alternator. People forget to upgrade all the other things too. Temperature sensing needs to be taken into account. They forget that shore chargers, DC to DC chargers, and solar controllers all need to be compatible with lithium and then correctly programmed to work with the new lithium batteries. They forget that lithium charging profiles aren't just a suggestion. Lithium is not a component upgrade on your boat. It is a system redesign on your boat. If you change the batteries and nothing else, the batteries might survive. The rest of your stuff might not. Mistake number 2, ignoring cold weather charging risk. This one catches a lot of people off guard. Ask a sailor if they plan to cruise in freezing weather, and most of them will say no. Ask them if their boat will ever experience cold temperatures, and suddenly things get awkward. Around here, we haul out for the winter and largely leave the batteries in the boat. Lithium batteries cannot be charged safely when they're cold. Not shouldn't, not prefer not to, cannot. Charging lithium below freezing temperatures causes internal plating damage that permanently reduces the lithium battery's capacity without actually telling you. They don't explode, they don't scream, they just quietly become a worse battery forever, and there's no fixing them. The real danger is that almost never happens while you're actually sailing. It happens while the boat's at the dock and no one's around, or while it's hauled out for winter. A cold night, a shore power cable left connected, solar panels waking up early on a frosty morning. The battery temperature is below freezing, but the charger doesn't know that, or doesn't care, or reacts too slowly to those conditions. One cold charge cycle can do damage to your lithium. Repeated cycles absolutely will do damage. Now, good lithium systems manage this properly. Battery heaters and temperature-aware charging logic, controlled cutoffs. But here's the trap. Many people assume that the BMS will handle it, and sometimes it can, and it does, but sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes it disconnects only after the damage has already been done. The sailor returns days or weeks later and notices something odd. The batteries don't seem to last as long as they used to. Voltage drops a lot more quickly. Capacity feels missing. Something dramatic has happened, but no one was there to see it. Nothing caught fire, there's no evidence. But the battery you paid premium money for is now quietly worse than it used to be. Cold charging is not a winter sailing problem, it's a boat ownership problem. Mistake number 3, believing that the BMS in the battery is a safety net and not a last resort. The battery management system, the digital guardian angel that everyone believes will save them from themselves. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The BMS protects the battery. It does not protect your boat or your wiring or anything else. When a BMS disconnects, it does so instantly. No taper down, no warning. One moment everything's fine, and the next moment the battery's just gone. Now imagine that happens while the alternator is charging hard at full capacity. The alternator suddenly has nowhere to send its output. The voltage in the alternator spikes, the regulators scramble, electronics on your boat see voltage that they were never meant to see. In milder cases, the system reboots. In worse cases, sensitive electronics die quietly and expensively. In truly unfortunate cases, modern engines may shut down too because their electrical world just vanished. If your lithium system relies on the BMS to intervene during normal operation, the system is already poorly designed. A good lithium installation is engineered so the BMS almost never activates. It shouldn't have to. It's there for faults and emergencies, not daily operational conditions. Overcurrent protection, charge control, system logic, and load management should prevent the battery from ever needing to pull that emergency brake. If the BMS is busy, your wiring diagram deserves a long, hard look. So what's the pattern behind all these mistakes? Notice the theme here. None of these mistakes are about bad batteries. They're about assumptions, assuming lithium behaves like lead acid when it doesn't, assuming cold weather only matters to the sailor on the boat. It doesn't, the batteries hate it. Assuming the BMS is smarter than the system design, which it's really not. Lithium doesn't make a boat simpler, it makes the boat a little bit less forgiving. When it's done right though, lithium is brilliant. When done casually, it exposes every weakness in the electrical system itself. And this is where many sailors get frustrated. They didn't want a whole science project or to have to hire a consultant to help them figure this out. They wanted longer battery life. Lithium can give you that, but only if you respect what it actually is. Not a miracle, not a shortcut, just a powerful tool that demands proper engineering. So who does lithium actually make sense for? It makes sense for boats with predictable electrical loads, modern charging systems, and owners who understand or are willing to pay for proper system integration. It makes less sense for boats that sit unattended in cold climates, rely heavily on engine charging without alternator upgrades, or are wired like a museum exhibit from 1987. It does not fix undersized wiring, and it does not forgive wishful thinking. And speaking of lithium batteries, did you see this great article we have called Leaping into Lithium? It says the benefits of modern batteries are amply clear, but do your homework and take a system-wide approach. This is a great accompanying article read for you if you have a few minutes. I'll leave a link in the description for you. And while you're here, don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. Really helps us out, but also it lets YouTube know that you like sailing videos, so it'll show you more of them. How cool is that? Also, hit subscribe so I can see you again next time.